TLC just dropped a bombshell. Andre and Elizabeth, once fan favorites on 90 Day Fiance, are fired and slapped with a $100,000 lawsuit. Can you imagine? One moment they're riding high, loved by thousands, and the next, they're facing public humiliation, legal threats, and a network breathing down their necks. How does a couple that seemed untouchable suddenly end up in court over their own reality TV story? That's the question fans are asking, and honestly, it's shocking to even think about. Andre, the quiet, steady type everyone admired, and Elizabeth, fiery and fearless, now have their names plastered across headlines for all the wrong reasons. Fame, it seems, comes with a price no one warned them about. Their rise was electric. From their first episode, viewers couldn't get enough. People rooted for them, laughed with them, and shared every juicy moment online. They were relatable, real, and refreshingly unscripted, at least on camera. Social media buzzed with memes, fan pages, and theories about what would happen next. And yet, behind the scenes, cracks were forming. Producers were allegedly pushing storylines, nudging drama, and testing boundaries. What we see on screen is only the tip of the iceberg, and the deeper truth is far more explosive than anyone expected. And this isn't a simple firing story. There are twists here that will make you question everything you thought you knew about Andre and Elizabeth's journey, the pressures of reality TV, and how a network really handles its stars when things get messy. Fans are still reeling, and by the end of this story, you'll understand why. Retention booster, keep watching, because the shocking chain of events that led to their firing and the lawsuit that followed will reveal secrets even the most die-hard fans didn't see coming. When Andre and Elizabeth first stepped onto 90 Day Fiance, it was impossible not to notice them. Andre's quiet, almost brooding presence was a perfect counterbalance to Elizabeth's firecracker personality. Right from the start, the camera loved them, and so did the audience. You could feel it in the comments, in the memes, in the nonstop fan theories. People were invested. And it wasn't just about drama. This couple felt real. They argued, laughed, and struggled like any real couple trying to navigate love across borders. Fans immediately connected with their chemistry. You know, the kind that makes you say, yes, they belong together, even when they're squabbling over small things. Andre's calm demeanor made Elizabeth's temper pop in the most entertaining way. And Elizabeth? She was outspoken, unfiltered, and surprisingly vulnerable at the same time. That combination of honesty and fire kept viewers glued to the screen. People felt like they were witnessing something authentic, not just another scripted reality TV story. And trust me, that authenticity is rare. Social media exploded. Memes of Elizabeth's reactions went viral within hours. Andre's subtle, almost deadpan expressions became a running joke and a point of admiration at the same time. Fans dissected every moment. Was he frustrated, amused, or just done with her sass? Entire threads popped up trying to predict the next fight, the next romantic gesture, or even the next tearful confession. Their first episodes alone generated more engagement than most couples get in an entire season. People weren't just watching, they were participating. Polls, hashtags, fan pages, forums, it felt like the entire internet had a stake in their story. But what really made Andre and Elizabeth stand out was their behavior. Andre didn't try to play the show for attention. He wasn't acting out for ratings. And that quiet steadiness made him surprisingly magnetic. Elizabeth, on the other hand, didn't shy away from conflict or from showing her true emotions. She cried when she was hurt, laughed when she was happy, and didn't hold back her opinions, even when it got awkward. Fans loved it because it mirrored real relationships. People could see themselves in her frustrations, her joys, her insecurities. They weren't over-the-top reality TV caricatures. They were human. And that's what made viewers root for them. The rise was meteoric. Their social media following ballooned overnight. Every episode that featured them drew higher ratings. Interviews, fan recaps, even casual mentions on other reality TV accounts kept them trending. Merchandise and spin-off opportunities started appearing almost immediately. It wasn't just fame, it was influence. Andre and Elizabeth had become a brand in themselves. And while the audience was celebrating, there were whispers behind the scenes. Some insiders hinted that not everything was smooth. Producers allegedly started nudging storylines, testing boundaries, and gently pushing for more drama. It didn't feel like anything serious at first, just minor suggestions on how to frame a scene, how to capture a moment, how to emphasize a disagreement. But even small nudges can plant seeds. You could almost sense the tension starting to simmer beneath the surface. Andre and Elizabeth were still winning hearts on screen, but behind the cameras, the rules of reality TV were quietly tightening around them. Fans didn't see this yet. To them, it was all charm, laughter, and relatable arguments. They cheered for Elizabeth when she stood her ground and admired Andre's calm logic. They speculated about their future, debated which family member would cause the next stir, and shared memes that made the couple feel like a household name. But every viral moment, every laugh, every heartfelt conversation was also a reminder of how much of their life was now public property. And with visibility comes scrutiny. By the end of the season, Andre and Elizabeth were the stars everyone talked about. Social media was flooded with support, questions, and fan theories. Some argued over whether Andre was too quiet or if Elizabeth's fiery temper would be her undoing. Others simply celebrated their chemistry. The couple had managed to build a genuine connection with fans, something most reality TV stars only dream about. And yet, while the world adored them, the pressures behind the cameras were quietly mounting. Wait till you see what producers allegedly tried to hide from fans. Because the very elements that made Andre and Elizabeth relatable, their honesty, their unfiltered emotions, their refusal to be anything other than themselves, would soon clash with the network's expectations. And that clash? It's what set the stage for everything that came next. By now, the audience was hooked. They weren't just watching Andre and Elizabeth, they were living their highs and anticipating their lows. The early signs of tension were subtle, but for those paying attention, you could sense that the dream rise was quietly steering toward a storm. And believe me, that storm was about to hit hard. Just when it seemed like Andre and Elizabeth were untouchable, the first cracks started showing behind the cameras. Producers began leaning in, subtly at first, suggesting how scenes should go, which moments to emphasize, and how Elizabeth's fiery reactions might play better on screen. Andre was polite but firm, often shrugging off the notes, while Elizabeth pushed back openly. Fans saw the on-screen arguments, but what they didn't see was the tension bubbling off camera. Every suggestion from production felt like a test of their authenticity, and for a couple whose appeal came from being unfiltered, this was dangerous territory. Elizabeth wasn't used to anyone trying to script her life. Her instinct was to speak her mind, and she did, sometimes at the cost of awkward silences or frustrated looks from producers. Andre, in contrast, responded with quiet assertiveness, weighing his words and trying to mediate without compromising who they were. This dynamic created a subtle tension that few people outside the crew noticed, a clash of personalities not just between the couple, but between the couple and the network's expectations. It was like watching fire meet water, but behind closed doors, the water was slowly heating up. Fans assumed disagreements were just part of a normal reality show drama, but things escalated in ways nobody predicted. Small notes about tone or camera angles became demands about scenes, words, and even wardrobe. Elizabeth reportedly refused to exaggerate emotions or fabricate confrontations just to make a scene more dramatic. Andre backed her stance, insisting their story should reflect reality, not a manufactured version of it. It's hard to overstate how rare this kind of resistance is in reality TV, where producers often push participants to heighten conflict. But then a single text allegedly changed everything. A producer allegedly reached out late at night, nudging Elizabeth to perform a reaction she hadn't agreed to. It was a seemingly small request, but for a couple committed to honesty, it felt like a betrayal. Andre tried to calm her, but Elizabeth was already questioning the cost of fame. Should they bend a little for the cameras, or stick to what felt true to them? Every decision now carried stakes, ratings, fan approval, and their own sense of integrity. You won't believe what happened the night before filming the next episode. Tension in the house was palpable. Elizabeth refused to rehearse lines or play up an argument that producers suggested. Andre quietly reminded her they were being watched by millions, But he also knew that giving in could compromise their entire reputation. For producers, it was frustrating. They wanted control, predictability, and drama. For Andre and Elizabeth, every demand was a choice between integrity and survival in the reality TV ecosystem. As filming continued, subtle signs of strain became impossible to ignore. Elizabeth snapped at minor comments, Andre started withdrawing from casual conversations with the crew, and both seemed perpetually on edge. Fans noticed small shifts on screen, the pauses, the eye rolls, the hesitant smiles, but couldn't have guessed the full scope of the friction. Behind every take was a negotiation. Should they play along or risk angering producers and jeopardizing their future on the show? Small escalations quickly compounded into bigger conflicts. A disagreement about how a family dinner would be portrayed spiraled into a heated discussion with production. Elizabeth refused to act upset on cue, insisting the dinner had been fine. Andre stayed calm but firm, backing her up. The producers reportedly felt challenged, and emails started piling up, sometimes with warnings and sometimes with demands. What had started as suggestions was turning into pressure, and every interaction now carried weight. Fans were still cheering on their favorite couple, but the tension behind the scenes was shifting the story. Andre and Elizabeth had to make constant calculations, how much to reveal, when to push back, and how to protect their relationship under the glare of cameras. It wasn't just about surviving the show, it was about surviving the fame and the network itself. Every decision, every reaction, became a tiny act of resistance. Then came the moment that would change everything. A scene intended to be playful ended up on the cutting room floor because Elizabeth refused to overreact. Andre's quiet defiance made the producers nervous. The couple's insistence on honesty was now a liability in a system built to control narrative, maximize drama, and protect ratings. The stakes were no longer just personal, they were professional, and the tension was reaching a breaking point. And then a single offhand comment reportedly sparked a full-blown showdown. Elizabeth felt the network was trying to manipulate them, Andre wanted to shield her, and producers demanded compliance. Arguments became sharper, emails became sterner, and every filming day ended with frustration simmering like lava ready to erupt. What the fans saw as charming banter was now a high-stakes negotiation behind closed doors. As the weeks passed, it became clear that this behind-the-scenes tension wasn't going away. Andre's calm logic couldn't completely soothe Elizabeth's frustration, and Elizabeth's fire couldn't fully shake the producer's control. The couple began to feel cornered, balancing their love, their reputation, and their principles. Small incidents, the tone of a line, a cut scene, a subtle framing decision, turned into symbolic battles over who controlled their story. The audience remained unaware, still laughing at memes and sharing theories, completely captivated by the on-screen drama. Yet, every scene had layers of stress, manipulation, and negotiation that viewers couldn't see. And the more Andre and Elizabeth resisted, the more the producers pushed. Every conflict, every subtle rejection, became fuel for what would eventually explode into the legal showdown that shocked everyone. You won't believe what happened the night before filming the next episode. That night reportedly changed everything. There were tense phone calls, harshly worded emails, and a mood in the house that no one could ignore. Andre tried to protect Elizabeth from the stress, but even he couldn't fully insulate her from the pressure. It was a turning point, the moment when fame stopped feeling fun and started feeling like a trap. By now, the audience was hooked without knowing why. The stakes were rising, tension was thick, and every choice mattered. Elizabeth and Andre weren't just participants. They were resisting a system designed to turn them into characters rather than real people. And the next confrontation? It would be bigger, messier, and impossible to ignore. The bomb dropped without warning. One morning, Andre and Elizabeth were informed that they were no longer part of the show. Not only were they fired, but the network also filed a lawsuit demanding $100,000. The news hit like a shockwave. For a couple adored for their authenticity, it was surreal. Fans had spent months cheering their honesty, laughing at their quirks, sharing memes, and suddenly, the network was painting them as a liability. The timing was brutal, their rise had been meteoric, and now the fall felt catastrophic. Social media erupted immediately. Twitter threads lit up with outrage. Fans posted screenshots of heartfelt messages comparing the fired couple to other stars who bent under pressure. Instagram stories flooded with reactions. How could TLC do this? They were the only real ones left. Even memes turned into digital protests, painting Andre and Elizabeth as David taking on Goliath. Viewers weren't just entertained, they were emotionally invested, feeling personally affected by what was happening. Some commented about seeing themselves in Elizabeth's fire or Andre's quiet reasoning, which made the news hit even harder. Behind the screens, the emotional fallout was intense. Elizabeth reportedly spent hours pacing, rereading emails, and questioning every choice she had made. Andre tried to stay grounded, but stress gnawed at him. A couple once confident and thriving now faced uncertainty, legal battles, public scrutiny, and the question of whether their reputations could survive the network's version of events. Their world, which once revolved around fans, cameras, and excitement, suddenly felt like a maze of pressure, heartbreak, and betrayal. Psychologically, this was more than a professional setback. Elizabeth's drive for authenticity had always been her defining trait. Andre's quiet resilience had been the glue holding them together. Now, the same traits that made them beloved were being turned into points of contention. Every decision under scrutiny carried weight. Fans didn't just see arguments, they saw integrity clashing with corporate control. Every Instagram post, every interview, every tweet became a test: stay true or adapt to survive. And this is only the beginning of the chaos for Andre and Elizabeth. The lawsuit wasn't just a financial threat, it was a public spectacle, a narrative the network could control. Headlines framed the story as drama rather than injustice, and suddenly the couple's personal struggles were turned into content for clicks. Every comment thread and news story became another arena where their reputation was questioned. The emotional toll was magnified because the audience they had won over now saw them through a lens shaped by lawyers, press releases, and edits they didn't control. Fans reacted in waves. Online petitions circulated, demanding fairness and accountability. Hashtags like #FreeAndre and #SupportElizabeth trended for days. Community forums lit up with theories about what really happened behind the cameras. People dissected interviews, clip by clip, looking for signs of the firing's justification. And amid the chaos, Andre and Elizabeth were forced to make difficult decisions. How public should they be? How much of their story should they reveal? Every post carried potential backlash. Every word weighed heavily. Emotionally, the stress was palpable. Relationships within the couple had to adjust to the new reality. Elizabeth's fiery energy now needed careful direction. Impulsive reactions could be weaponized against them. Andre's quiet assertiveness became a shield, trying to maintain calm while also protecting their truth. This emotional balancing act was exhausting. Every conversation with lawyers or network representatives was layered with tension. Every social media reaction amplified anxiety. Wait till you hear what one fan theory claims could happen next. Public perception wasn't just a byproduct. It was part of the story now. Every meme, every tweet, every clip of the couple laughing or arguing could be replayed endlessly, creating a narrative beyond their control. It was the classic reality TV trap. The same platform that had elevated them now had the power to define them. Every loyal fan's support became a crucial tool in their fight, but it also made every misstep more visible. The legal and public battles became intertwined. The lawsuit wasn't simply about money. It symbolized corporate pressure and control, and it forced Andre and Elizabeth into defensive positions they had never anticipated. For a couple who valued honesty above all else, being painted as rule breakers or difficult personalities was a bitter pill. Yet in those struggles, they found moments of clarity. Fans' support reaffirmed that they weren't alone, and every article criticizing the network added context to their resistance. This was a story with layers. There was the emotional fallout, the stress of public judgment, the financial stakes, and the looming question of legacy. How would they rebuild credibility? How would the industry treat them in future appearances or negotiations? And most importantly, could a couple so committed to their values survive in a system built on control, conflict, and dramatized narratives. And this is only the beginning of the chaos for Andre and Elizabeth. While some predicted the story would fade, others speculated that the firing and lawsuit could change the entire franchise. The tension between reality TV authenticity and network control had never been this visible, and fans were paying attention. Every viral clip, every sympathetic post, every online argument kept the story alive. Andre and Elizabeth's fight had become emblematic of a broader struggle, the cost of staying true when the system rewards spectacle over sincerity. Through it all, the couple's resilience remained the anchor. Elizabeth's fire, tempered by Andre's calm, became a blueprint for navigating not just this immediate fallout, but potential future battles. Fans cheered, cried, and shared advice, but the couple ultimately had to make decisions grounded in principle, not popularity. Every choice carried emotional weight, and the public was watching. As this chapter closed, one thing was clear: the story wasn't ending. The firing, lawsuit, and fan uproar had set the stage for a reckoning. Questions lingered. Would the couple fight back legally? Would they find another platform to share their story? Could they maintain authenticity in a world that seemed determined to rewrite it for clicks and ratings? Every answer remained just out of reach, teasing what was to come next. Wait till you hear how this could reshape everything we thought about reality TV control. The fall was public, dramatic, and emotional, but the fight was far from over. Andre and Elizabeth had survived the rise. Now they faced the ultimate test: surviving the system itself without losing who they were. Fans, lawyers, and producers alike watched closely, knowing that the next chapter could redefine not only their story, but the boundaries of reality television itself. The lawsuit landed like a storm. TLC was seeking $100,000, citing alleged contract violations and claiming Andre and Elizabeth failed to uphold certain obligations on set. Fans who had cheered for their honesty now watched the drama shift into a courtroom. Every public filing became another headline, each word analyzed and dissected by fans and news outlets alike. The legal documents didn't just threaten finances, they threatened reputation. For a couple whose brand was authenticity, suddenly they were cast as troublemakers in official records. Sleepless nights became routine. Elizabeth reportedly spent hours reviewing the documents, trying to understand every clause, every phrase. Andre, typically calm and measured, found himself weighing public statements against legal strategy. Every interaction, every social media post had to be carefully considered. The couple faced a dual challenge: fight for their rights while maintaining the public image that had once won them fame. Pressure wasn't just external, it seeped into their personal lives. Arguments over minor decisions suddenly carried massive stakes. Fans were a lifeline, but also a source of scrutiny. Support poured in through social media campaigns, heartfelt messages, and trending hashtags, yet every online interaction felt like a double-edged sword. One misstep could be misinterpreted as weakness or admission. For Andre and Elizabeth, the same audience that adored their authenticity now watched them under a magnifying glass, judging every reaction, every statement, every decision. The next move could shock even the most loyal fans. The emotional toll went beyond public perception. Trust, once taken for granted, became fragile. Relationships with the network, production team, and even some former friends were strained. Elizabeth's fiery personality, previously a source of admiration, now sometimes fueled frustration and tension during strategy discussions. Andre's quiet assertiveness was stretched thin, balancing calmness with the need to be assertive in negotiations. Together, they had to navigate a maze of legal pressure while protecting their dignity and personal integrity. Every court filing, every legal update added suspense. Fans speculated endlessly. Was this just a scare tactic? Would TLC push for a settlement? Or would the lawsuit drag on, creating more public spectacle? The uncertainty gnawed at the couple. Decisions became high stakes. Every comment, every interview, even subtle body language in public appearances was calculated to avoid giving the network leverage. Emotional exhaustion was relentless. Despite the chaos, Andre and Elizabeth were determined to reclaim their narrative. Interviews were carefully chosen, social media posts deliberately crafted, yet they refused to soften their story. Fans responded with unwavering support, sharing clips, defending the couple in comment threads, and questioning the network's motives. The couple's fight was no longer only about money. It was about proving that authenticity could survive the pressure of reality TV's machinery. Wait till you see what unexpected public support revealed. Celebrities and former reality TV stars weighed in, sharing experiences that mirrored Andre and Elizabeth's situation. Their stories reinforced the narrative. Networks often control perception, while stars navigate the fine line between collaboration and exploitation. For viewers, this wasn't just gossip, it was insight into the hidden mechanisms of reality television. And Andre and Elizabeth were living proof. The nights were long. Conversations ran past midnight, plans were revised repeatedly, and trust in external advisors was tested. The emotional weight of watching a personal life dissected by lawyers and media was heavy. Elizabeth admitted in a public statement that the ordeal had caused sleepless nights, tears, and constant anxiety. Andre expressed frustration at feeling misrepresented and unheard. Yet, in these struggles, fans saw resilience. The couple's fire and quiet strength became a narrative of endurance. The lawsuit also sparked broader questions about reality TV ethics. Could networks overreach? Were contracts being used to suppress authenticity? For Andre and Elizabeth, the stakes weren't only financial. They were moral and emotional. Every action had consequences. Every decision carried the risk of public misinterpretation. The couple's journey highlighted a tension between personal integrity and corporate control that had rarely been this visible. And this is only the start of their uphill battle. As filings progressed, fans continued to speculate about the possible outcomes. Would the couple settle quietly? Or would they fight publicly to defend their reputation? Could they maintain relevance without the platform that had initially launched them to fame? The uncertainty created a continuous layer of tension, keeping viewers invested and engaged. Every move was under the spotlight. Every strategy subject to public scrutiny. Emotionally, the couple's bond became a focal point. The stress of the legal battle tested their relationship, but it also revealed a deeper connection. Elizabeth's assertiveness and Andre's calm created a balance, helping them face the storm together. For fans, watching them navigate sleepless nights, lawyer consultations, and media pressure made their story more human, more relatable, and more intense than any episode of the show. Meanwhile, the network maintained a controlled narrative, releasing statements emphasizing contract enforcement and fairness. Yet behind the polished announcements, the story of Andre and Elizabeth's struggle painted a very different picture. It was a clash of perspectives: corporate messaging versus lived experience, public image versus private turmoil. And in this clash, the couple had to assert their truth without inflaming the network further. Wait till you find out what twist in public perception could completely alter the narrative. Fans speculated about potential comeback opportunities, interviews, new platforms, even advocacy against unfair network practices. Every fan theory, every comment, every meme added layers to the public conversation, shaping perception as much as the legal filings themselves. The couple's battle became a real-time lesson in navigating fame, integrity, and corporate power. By now, sleepless nights, public pressure, and loss of trust had become routine. Yet, amidst exhaustion, Andre and Elizabeth refused to retreat. They were determined to reclaim dignity, control the narrative, and demonstrate that honesty mattered more than fear. Every post, every interview, every carefully crafted public message reinforced that point. The legal drama was far from over. Every court date, every filing, every strategy session added tension and suspense. And even as the couple endured sleepless nights and relentless scrutiny, the story left unanswered questions. Could they ever return to the show? Could they continue their public life without being overshadowed by this scandal? Would their fight inspire other reality stars to push back against networks? The next move could shock even the most loyal fans. Andre and Elizabeth had survived a meteoric rise, weathered behind-the-scenes conflicts, endured a public firing, and faced a lawsuit head-on. Now, the question was whether they could rise again, stronger, wiser, and more in control, or whether reality TV would crush the very authenticity that had made them beloved. Fans were watching closely, holding their breath, waiting to see if justice, resilience, and truth could triumph against a system designed to reward drama over honesty. Despite everything, Andre and Elizabeth refused to stay down. Public scrutiny, legal pressure, and sleepless nights had tested them, yet their determination to reclaim their story only grew stronger. Every statement, every carefully considered social media post, and every interview was a step toward showing fans who they truly were: unfiltered, honest, and unwilling to be silenced. They weren't just fighting a lawsuit, they were defending their integrity, proving that authenticity could survive even under the harshest spotlight. The emotional toll had been massive, but resilience became their armor. Elizabeth channeled her fiery energy into staying proactive, advocating for fairness, and standing firm against attempts to manipulate the narrative. Andre balanced her intensity with calm focus, ensuring decisions were measured, strategic, and aligned with their values. Together, they formed a team that reminded fans why the couple had been beloved in the first place: their bond, honesty, and courage under pressure. And fans noticed, support continued to pour in, more loyal than ever. Their story offers lessons for reality stars and viewers alike. Fame is alluring, but it carries hidden costs, contracts, pressure to perform, and the risk of being misrepresented. Andre and Elizabeth's experience demonstrates the importance of knowing your rights, setting boundaries, and standing firm on personal values. Authenticity isn't always easy, but it resonates. For fans, it's a reminder that the people on screen are human and that every dramatic moment comes with real-life consequences. Even as they reflect on the chaos, there's a sense of hope. Their rise, the excitement of early fan connection, the viral moments, all remain intact in memory. The couple has shown that setbacks don't erase triumphs. Their story comes full circle, from adored newcomers to controversial figures, now to fighters reclaiming dignity. Fans who cheered for them during their early episodes are now witnessing a deeper side of their journey, one that goes beyond romance or drama into resilience, strategy, and integrity. And yet, the future remains uncertain. Will they return to the 90-day Fiance universe? Will new drama test them further? Every twist that brought them to this moment hints at challenges yet to come. The network, fans, and legal battles all remain factors in what could be the next chapter of their story. One thing is clear: Andre and Elizabeth have proven they are not easily broken. But the story isn't over, and things will get even messier next season. For viewers, this is more than reality TV gossip. It's a narrative about standing your ground, fighting for truth, and maintaining authenticity under fire. Andre and Elizabeth's journey leaves fans invested, curious, and ready for the next shock, the next revelation, and the next dramatic twist that keeps the 90-Day Fiancé universe unpredictable, engaging, and impossible to ignore.